Good morning, friends. Happy September 15th. Holy smokes, here we go. It's a Monday morning. I hope everyone's having an amazing start to your week so far. Welcome to my Instagram and Facebook Live. Now that we've been going for so long, it's actually starting to feel like my own show right now. So anyway, I hope you guys are I hope your week's off to a really great start. Just when you jump in, man, say what's up. Tell me where you're coming in from. I got some fun questions to ask you guys also. What up, Kim? Hello, my friend. Hey, Sandra. Hello, Marine. Hello. Boy, some of these Instagram names they're kind of tough to to get. I know. I see just Jenny. That one's easy. What's up, Sarah? Good morning, my friend. What's up, Lisa? Oh, the collector crew's coming in. What up, Steph? Oh, Sarah's coming in from Abu Dhabi. Assalamu alaikum, my friend. All right, let's see. Hazy Days says hello from, and she just leaves it blank. It's a cliffhanger right now, Hazy Days. Come on. What up, Jay Lee? Coming in from LA. Bonjour, France. Hello, Hungary. Oh my gosh, a couple of people coming in from France. We got Florida in the house. We got my account coming in from Helenice from Boston. Good morning, Pennsylvania. Good morning, Pacific Northwest, Oregon. That's my old stomping grounds right there. Wow. Hello, Russia. Oh my gosh, man. We got people coming in from around the world. Yo, what up, my boy? Wicket. B-boy Wicket. Guys, go give him a follow. What's up, buddy? He's coming in from the Bay Area. Representing. See Texas in the house. See Seattle. All right, jumping over here to Facebook. Hello, Cassie. Good morning. Good morning, Tina. Good morning, Kim. Hi, from the other Kim. I love it. And Cassie says, good afternoon. It is good afternoon where you're at, Cassie. What up, Shelly? What up, Michael? Coming in from Illinois. And then let me see. We got Beth. We got Marty. We got Jessica, Pam in Ohio, Liz in Maryland. Oh, Marty, aloha, my friend. She's coming in from Hawaii. Sweden's in the house. Italy is in the house in Facebook. We got Northern Kentucky. Good morning, friends. South Africa. Holy boy. I think this is the most diverse crowd we've had, the most international. I mean, we've always got people chiming in from other places, but holy cow. I mean, we've got Slovakia and Hungary and Abu Dhabi and South Africa and Sweden and Canada. Wow, this is really cool, guys. Thanks so much for joining us. Let's get this party started. Let's have some fun. I hope you guys had a wonderful weekend. Along those lines, chime in here, jump into the chat, and I want you to drop in here. Here's my first question for you. If there's a song that would capture your last weekend, what would that song be? What song title would you say best sums up your this last weekend for you? Bulgaria? Holy smokes. We got England. This is so cool. All right. So if there's a song, and then when you drop it in here, I love it. Denise. Oh, is that a song, or are you just saying that to me? You are loved. Thank you, Denise. I'm sure that's got to be a song name as well, but thank you. Don says, enter Sandman. Amy, don't stop believing. Adam says, money for nothing. Mrs. Angel says, I'm the problem. Little T Swift in the house. Kathy, what up, Kathy? Says Carolina girl. I love it. Kim says, we are family. I love it. Yes, we are. Because I got the collective family in the house right now. Lexi says, dancing queen. Let's see, McLandrick. I'm going to guess it's McLandrick. Well, McLandrick had a good weekend. Her song, her theme is girls just want to have fun. Fair enough. All right. Madeline, I love this one. Gotta love Sia. I'm unstoppable. Let's see. Chris says, Brandon Lake, count him. I don't even want to ask. Oh, man. All right, here we go. Kelly says, I will survive. All right, jumping over here to Facebook. Here we go. Facebook says Panama. Michael says Panama. So, Michael, Panama sums up your weekend, huh? I'm so curious. Were you in Panama? Just wondering. Dawn says, give me something to believe in. Shelly says, don't stop believing. Let's see. Denise says, let's see, about you. She likes Naughty Tiger music. I've never heard of Naughty Tiger music. I'm almost scared to ask. Kim, yeah, here we go. Bon Jovi. Who says you can't go home? I love it. Yo, let's see. Janice says, walking on sunshine. Kristen, I'm glad that you love that caramel shake. It is pretty damn good. That salted caramel is just money. Wait till you cook with it also. You can bake all kinds of deliciousness with it. You're going to love it. Okay, Marty says, Bob Marley, we be jamming. Peggy, what up, Peggy? Says Rocky Top. I love it. Armando says, hold the line. All right, here we go. Over here to Instagram. Summertime, I see from Lock Walk says summertime. NYC Truffalo says ordinary world. Boy, it's been a minute since I've heard that one. Thanks for bringing it back. Okay, Tom says wrecking ball. Awesome, guys. Hey, thanks for having fun with me on this one. It sounds like some of y'all had a really good weekend. Let me see. Charlie says the hockey song, Stompin' Tom, repping Canada. I love it. Then here we go. Shelly says good times and tan lines. And Linnea, the final countdown. All right, guys. Sounds like you guys had a really good weekend. Mine was definitely a weekend of reflection. It's been a heavy week, my friends. I'm sure for a lot of us. So okay, let's have a little bit more fun though. We're gonna keep it relatively lighthearted, but I would love to know. You guys know that I've over the past years I've developed a huge passion for making comfort food, right? Because I think it's just food flavor changes behavior, and if food tastes really good, I mean, I spent decades of my life creating acceptable foods lists and where people were feeling deprived and restricted. And it's opened up a whole new world when you start making comfort foods taste really good. So I want to know, guys, really quick, what is your favorite comfort food? What's the one that just, it's your go-to thing you always kind of tend to kind of flow back to, either when you're triggered, if you want to kind of just have that hug, the thing that just makes you feel better. What is your favorite comfort food? And I'm not asking for this to be triggering at all. I'm actually asking for inspiration, because I think it's something that's really important that we can start to honor the foods, because guys, food is so much more than fuel. And I know it's been a saying in the fitness industry for a long time. It's food is fuel. Food is fuel. No, it's not. Food is family, and it's culture, and it's tradition, and it's friendship, and food is a lot, guys. Food, there is so much that food is really, it's ingrained in who we are. And so to have delicious food that can spark memories, or that's nostalgic, that takes us back to our childhood, I think it's really important to honor that in the journey. And again, my eyes have been open to this. I have not done, again, I lived in a world of deprivation and restriction for a long time. And I think there's a better way. So this is why I'm really curious. What's your food? I see cheeseburgers here. I see potatoes. I see pizza, potatoes, French fries, mac and cheese, ice cream. Here you go. More mac and cheese. Okay. Pizza and burgers. I love it. Oh, Mama Cash. I love it. You're going to love my cheeseburger salad. Try it. You're going to absolutely love it. Okay. Let me see here. Kim says carbs, chocolate chip cookies. Okay. Hash browns, Benitza and Boza. Okay, so Crazy Fox Model, I'm not sure where you're from, but she's dropping in some names of foods that I've never even heard about before, but it sounds pretty awesome. Benitza and Boza. I just want to try that. I don't even know what it is, but it sounds good. Okay, Adam says peanut butter Captain Crunch. I think my kids would agree with you on that one, Adam. Joy says ice cream. Oh my gosh. Okay, so jumping over here to Facebook. Here we go. I see. Wow. Let's go. I'm still scrolling up because there's a lot of foods here. Okay, here we go. Marie, popcorn. Peggy, chicken and dumplings. Okay. Andrea, guys, I hope you don't mind. By the way, I'm going to be copying, I'm just going to be taking snapshots of all these foods, because just as inspiration to see what we can do about creating some perhaps low sugar, higher protein options. Or I mean, obviously when it comes to French fries, you can't do really a high protein option to those. But what we can do is make some really delicious dips for French fries, and we can air fry fries, and we can get them really darn close. Tina says anything chocolate. Andrea says breakfast sandwiches. Dawn, grilled chicken salad. I see avocado toast. Robin says chips and dip, then chocolate. Okay. Amy Jones, chocolate cake. Susan, what's up, Susan? Mashed potatoes and gravy. Michael says mom's spaghetti. Well, I can't match mom's spaghetti, Michael. I'll do my best, but I can't match that one. Kim, more mashed potatoes and gravy. Anything chocolate. Marshmallows, says Wendy. Tracy, noodles. Lisa, chicken and dumplings. More chicken and dumplings, along with Peggy. All right, Ricky, mac and cheese. I see a lot of mac and cheese on here. David, bacon. All right, here we go. Charlie, chicken and rice casserole. Well, that's awesome. That's super easy. Shelly, yogurt parfaits. I see Dawn, lamb chops. Cupcakes and chips. Okay, fries. All right, guys, good to know. This is Ariel, Chick-fil-A. All right, Ariel, I don't know if you saw my post the other day. They got Chick-fil-A's got these new pretzel sandwiches. It's like a fried chicken. It's a cheddar pretzel club. And so it's their fried chicken breast with slice of cheddar cheese, some bacon on a pretzel roll. I literally just had my pretzel rolls delivered. I've got my chicken thighs and chicken breasts ready to go. I've got my thin sliced cheddar cheese. I'm going to make a version of that Chick-fil-A pretzel, that chicken pretzel club or whatever the heck they want to call it. It's like 680, 690 calories. I'm going to try to get it down to like 450. Again, just playing around with the version that we can do at home that's going to have just a fraction of the calories, probably a third. So that's working on that one right now. All right, guys. Yo, Adam, I'm sorry, man. Like I said, I didn't mean for this to trigger any of you, but I'm just really curious, just because, again, food is more than fuel. And I used to say food is fuel for over 10 years, 15 years. Food is fuel. Food is fuel. No, it's not. The more experience I've had, life experience, but working with people, it's so much more than fuel. And if you can meet everyone where they're at with their tradition and their culture and their family and their friendship and how food is wrapped into our lives as a part of us, man, I think that's, we can start to solve the problem. And so, and not solve the problem, but really help people achieve their goals without feeling like they're deprived. I think that's going to be a huge part of it. And guys, I'm still working toward this, and I always will be. I'll never have all the answers, but it's just something we can just continue to work toward. And I can't do it without your help, without this kind of input. So this is beautiful. I learn every single time I jump on here, and we connect and we communicate. So this is awesome. All right, my friends. Yo, thank you. Thank you for sharing that. Now, I've got one more question for you guys, and then we can open it up. Y'all can put me in the hot seat, and we can have some fun, and we can just we'll just rip it from there. But I was thinking about this question, and I think it's going to elicit a little bit of thought on your part, but it's also going to elicit a commitment on your part. So here's my question for you guys. Listen carefully. At the end of this week, what are you going to thank yourself for? It's a big one. At the end of this week, what are you going to thank yourself for? What will you have done for yourself by Friday or Saturday when you look back? Tom says, I try to learn something new every day. Awesome. Good, man. I like that. So guys, at the end of this week, what are you going to thank yourself for? You got 5, 6, 7 days to do something amazing for yourself. And it might be something small every day. In fact, if you're doing it right, it probably should be something just small every day. But you're going to look back and you're going to thank yourself for it. Here we go. Gretchen says, I'll thank myself for showing up when I didn't feel like it. Guys, listen to what Gretchen just said. I will thank myself for showing up when I didn't feel like it. And guess what? 80% of the time, you're not going to feel like it. But Gretchen, that's powerful. And I love it. And especially when you have those realistic expectations that you're not going to feel like doing the thing that you said you're going to do. Most of the time, you're not going to feel like it. But when you show up and you do it, that's the greatest act of love for yourself that you could ever have. And the feeling afterward, it's priceless. I think that's definitely something to thank yourself for at the end of this week. That's beautiful, Gretchen. Thank you. L Bell 21 says, adding steps daily. I love it. Real quick, guys, really wonderful way to get your step count. is don't say, oh, it's going to be 10,000 steps a day. No, figure out where you're at right now. Open up the health app on your phone, whether it's Android or Apple. Go figure out what your weekly average is. You take that average and then you add about 10% to it. So if you're averaging 4,000 steps a day, add 10%, add 400. So your new step goal should be 4,400. Don't overextend yourself. It's one of the biggest things, one of the biggest mistakes you can make. Only increase your goals by about 10 to 15%. There's like an 85% rule, which means that you're only extending your goals about 10 to 15% above what you are currently able to do every single day. And it seems to be a really good, healthy range to elicit that kind of excitement, but it's also something that's doable that's going to keep you winning. So keep that in mind. I love that. Thank you. Lisa says, putting yourself first. Beautiful. Best way to do that is to keep your promises. So set some commitments, keep those commitments. And that is the greatest act of putting yourself first. And that's self-love right there. Lisa, I love it. Lisa Duthie, staying committed. Beautiful. Mrs. Angel, for meal prepping yesterday to take stress off me all week. Yes, I love it, my friend. That's what we did. We meal prepped yesterday, man, and we are set. I love it. Crazy Fox Model says, for being able to do my art without thinking of if someone likes it or not. Beautiful. I love that. Okay, Mrs. Fire Tank says, keeping to my goals. Victoria, exercising every day. Susie, ASU. I love it. Staying in my exercise routine. By the way, guys, that's the pitchfork. Sparky's pitchfork for Arizona State University. Just in case you're wondering what the heck I did that for. That's my alma mater, and I'm guessing it's Susie's as well. Nicole says, running every day. Steph, for taking care of myself. Hyde Stirs says, weightlifting 4 times a week. Over here to Facebook. Let's go. So Cynthia says, for keeping up with nutrition. Beautiful. Carol, portion control. Patty, logging food every day. This is beautiful, Patty. She says, even though I'm not eating perfect due to a surgery I just had on Thursday, Patty, still, this is the best thing you can do. You can't control your movement. You just had freaking surgery. But what you can control is your nutrition. And by the way, it's really important that you're going to nourish your body because your body needs to heal and recover. So actually pulling it out and logging your food, that is one of the most powerful things you can possibly do. I am so proud of you. Good job, Patty. Thanks for sharing that. Kaden says, stretching daily and water intake. Dawn, walking more. Jessica, showing my kids to keep a promise to yourself that you can achieve what you set your mind to. I freaking love that. It's the best thing you can do. That's the best way you can be an example for your kids, is to show them that you are you're making yourself a priority. You're taking that Jessica time so that you can do your exercise. You can prep your meals. You can maybe take a moment and just be mindful and let them see that. It's probably one of the greatest gifts that we can give our kids. Emily says, stacking habits. Hell to the yeah. Love it. Here we go. Patty, let's see. Janice, putting your cell phone down early at night to get more sleep. Guys, by the way, I hope everyone's listening because we're giving each other really brilliant ideas. If you're sitting here watching, you haven't chimed in yet, you're like, what could I thank myself for at the end of the week? Listen, everyone here, we're helping each other. I hope you also are starting to realize that's the purpose of all of us coming together every week. It's an honor for me to help facilitate this and ask some questions, but I really do believe that the more you guys share, the more you guys can help each other in this. So give each other some ideas. Jaylene says, keep my nighttime snacking in check. Yes, I love it. And also have some really healthy options available for you so that when you're feeling snacky, you're going to reach for that alternative instead, and you're going to thank yourself for it. Jessica, controlling your insulin resistance. I love it. Here we go. Let's see what else. What are you going to thank yourself for this Friday? Michael says strength training Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Let's go, Michael. I love it. Laura, staying positive, especially even if you eat poorly or have a bad diet or exercise day. 1,000%. Focus on the positive. I actually literally just this morning was doing even more research on the power of gratitude. Guys, I think I've said it before. It's just not woo-woo stuff anymore. Gratitude is so powerful. It changes our physiology. And actually the mechanisms like in our brain for fear and anxiety, and then for gratitude, they oppose each other. And so it's almost impossible for one to exist happening in the brain when the other one is happening, because one is activating the sympathetic system, the other one's parasympathetic system. And so they they battle each other. And so when you're in there feeling and practicing gratitude, all those, the neurophysiological mechanisms for fear and anxiety, it pulls the whole system the other direction into calm and into peace and joy. Now, of course, it will come back, but at the same time, as long as you're practicing that gratitude, you literally are changing your neurochemistry. It's really wild stuff and powerful. Here we go. Cassie, focusing on your food during a busy week for kids. I love it. Susan, accepting not everything is perfect. Thank you for saying this, Susan. Susan just said one of my favorite things in the world. And this is really, truly one of the answers to long-term transformation and to consistency. And that is progress over perfection every single time, because there is no such thing as perfection. You're chasing, it's a mythical creature. Progress. That's everything. Focus on your progress, and that will lead to consistency, and consistency will yield the results that you're looking for. That's everything, guys. Again, more stuff is just coming in here on Instagram. See, Carolina, tracking food, learning these yummy recipes. I love it. Yes, learn as much as you possibly can. Welcome to the challenge, my friend, as well, guys. The challenge doors are closed. If you didn't have a chance to jump in, they will. Remember, I open them up twice a year, and so there will be another one happening early next year. And so we are well underway. The next wave of challengers, and so everyone's dropping into carb cycling. Today is our very first high carb day. So yes, challengers, let's go. High carb day. And remember, as we're going through this, guys, pay attention to your body. It's talking to you all day, every day, with your energy levels and your mental clarity and your focus. Pay attention to it and see how your body's responding to it before we drop into the low carb days. And then again, pay attention to how it's feeling as it's talking to you. All right, here we go. All right, my friends. Now, whenever you're ready, hey, first of all, thanks for sharing all this. This is brilliant. And by the way, you know what just happened? You guys just made some commitments. You see what you just did there? You made some commitments, and those commitments are very real and they're very important. And in fact, your integrity is tied to that. And so the most important thing we can focus on now is doing what you said you're going to do. And it's personal integrity. It's that integrity with yourself. That is the secret ingredient of transformation. And, here's the best part. If you focus on that, everything else will fall into place. If you focus on it, and by the way, try to poke holes in that. You can't. It's bulletproof. If you said, I'm going to track my food every day, and if you focus more on just keeping the promise to yourself, well, then the food is going to get tracked every day. And when the food's tracked, you're mindful of it and you're aware of it. And then you'll know exactly if you're at a surplus or a deficit, and everything else, you get this, everything falls into place. If you said, I'm going to walk every day, it's not about the walking. It's about the promise. You see where I'm going with this? That's the secret path of transformation that's always been there. It's not the diet. It's not the exercise program. It's not those. Those aren't the solution for you. The solution is if you look beyond all of that, the path is always you keeping your promises to yourself. If you say you're going to do something, you do it, because that is directly tied. That's your integrity is following through that commitment that you made to yourself. And that is directly tied to your dignity. That's when you follow through with that promise. That is the greatest act of self-love, putting yourself as a priority. And love is an act. It's not just saying you're going to do it. No, you actually have to do it. And that act will then lead to believing in yourself, more confidence, more self-love. And that's really what transformation is all about. Because when you focus on that, everything else will fall into place. The diet will fall into place. The exercise will fall into place. The stress management will fall into place. It will all happen. Focus on keeping your promises to yourself, and everything else will fall into place. That's, at the end of the day, that's what it's all about. All right. Michael. Oh, so just a quick question here from Michael. He says, am I ever planning on doing a casein protein? He does the Optimum Nutrition Chocolate Supreme. Have I ever thought about doing it? So our meal replacement shakes, I intentionally actually put casein in them. It's actually a 3-phase protein blend. And so it's a whey protein isolate, a whey protein concentrate, and then a casein protein. And I like the casein. I like all three because with each shake, you get a big, whey protein isolate is a much faster release and absorption into the system. So you get a lot of protein right off the bat. And then concentrate is about a moderate release and moderate absorption. And then casein is a very slow digesting protein. And so you get fast protein into the system in the form of amino acids. With the concentrate, you get moderate. And with the casein, you get a very slow release into your digestive system, and a slow release into the bloodstream. And so, and by the way, also casein, I love it because it's a thicker protein. When you mix it up, it just gets thicker and thicker and thicker. And I like that thickness, especially when I was creating a shake to help people make them feel full. Casein can really do that because it sits and it's relatively heavy. And I want that because I want that digestion or the expansion in the stomach. And then I want that slow push into the small intestine for absorption. It bakes really well too. And so we don't have plans on doing a straight casein, or some say casein, but I call it casein. But the triphase blend is what it seems to be working really well. And of course the flavors, you just can't go wrong with ours. So if you ever get a chance, you can try ours out. But if you've got a winner that you really love, I say stick with it. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Okay. So Connie asked a really good question. And by the way, I want to talk about this, Connie, because Connie says, after reaching your goal, how do you hold and not keep losing? Okay, well, so I want to talk about the weight loss and the maintenance journey. Because the thing is, nowadays, my friends, we've got some really powerful tools available at our fingertips. More and more people are using these GLP-1, GIP medications, and we're learning more and more about just the adopting and adjusting these pillars of wellness with nutrition. I mean, now it's like, hey, guys, we can create all these high protein versions of your favorite comfort foods. And so everything's becoming way more enjoyable when it comes to the weight loss journey. Losing weight now is way more enjoyable and easier. And I won't say easier, but I'll just say it seems to be more efficient now than it was in the past. Again, because we're still learning, and it should only get better from here. So now the question, and it seems to be like the weight loss, it's still the challenge. But as weight loss is becoming more efficient, and it seems to be, I will say, a little bit easier to achieve, the real question now is keeping it off. Now, Connie was saying, and not keep losing. Well, here's the best part, is that weight loss, you'll only continue to lose lose the weight if you're at a calorie deficit. And so, hold on, I got to say what's up. I just looked over here and my buddy Matthew Blades just jumped onto Instagram. What's up, brother? So good to see you. Oh, man. Happy Monday, my friend. I love you, brother. Okay, so guys, as long as you're at a calorie deficit, your body will continue to lose weight. And so, Connie, to answer your question, if you want to stop losing weight and just bring yourself up to maintenance, you simply need to consume enough calories so that you're going to match your calorie expenditure. And so it's relatively, what seems like a relatively simple equation. However, you're never going to know exactly how many calories you're burning, and you're never going to know exactly how many calories you're taking in. But we've got all these tools that can help us get close to figuring it out. So what we can do is we can just start to aim for ranges. Now, granted, you could track your calories, which is really that's the most accurate way for you to determine how many calories that you're consuming. And then once you can do that, simply increase your calories, eat more until you stop losing weight. And then you wait and you see what your body does. And what we do is, when it comes to gaining weight, losing weight, you don't measure it day by day. Because do you know how much body fat you're going to gain or lose in a day? We're talking fractions of a pound. It's like day to day, it's almost immeasurable. And now, granted, we could fluctuate with water several pounds in a day, but we're talking actual body fat or even muscle gain. It's even smaller as far as muscle gain goes, or muscle loss happens very, very slowly. But what we can do is we can watch trends. And so you want to see the trends over time. Even a week is not a very realistic amount of time to really see a solid trend. But what you want to do is, I look at trends over 2 weeks, sometimes 3 weeks, 4 weeks. Now we're really starting to get a much better idea for what your body's doing. And are you realistically at a deficit? Are you at maintenance? Your body will tell you. It will tell you with the trend. Is it gaining or losing weight? That's how it will tell you. And then we can make adjustments accordingly. So I love to take a look at that. And again, this is your journey. And so you can use all these different little tools just to kind of track how many calories you're taking in and how many you're expending. All right. Here we go. Jessica says she's got Hashimoto's. It makes her feel where she doesn't feel hungry as much now, and she has controlled her insulin. How does she know she's getting enough protein without making herself sick? Well, so Jessica, I actually have Hashimoto's as well. I was diagnosed almost 15 years ago. I've been on Synthroid ever since. I really hope that your medication you've got it stabilized with your doctor. So this is absolutely a case that you must take care of with your primary care physician or medical provider. And so one of the best things you can do, how do you know if you're getting enough protein? Well, here's probably one of the easiest way to just get a rough shotgun blast on how much protein you could and should be eating close to every day. Again, super easy to do this one. Think about what your goal weight is. Maybe your goal weight is 150 pounds. Maybe it's 180 pounds. Maybe your goal weight's 200 pounds, whatever it is. Try to aim for a gram of protein for every pound of your goal weight, not where you are now, but your goal weight. Just aim for a gram of protein for every pound. And how do you know? Track it. Use a tracker. It's probably one of the easiest. You can always use a paper tracker and you literally just read the label, say protein. It's always on the bottom line. And you say, oh, this was 13 grams. Oh, and that one is 18 grams. And I ate that and it's 34 grams. And you add it up. And by the end of the day, you want to hit 160 or whatever your goal weight is. That's probably one of the easiest and crudest ways to get get adequate protein intake based on where you want to go. So I hope that helps. Now to do that without making yourself sick, well, I'll tell you what, one of the easiest ways to get protein, shakes. They are quickly digested. They don't take, because they're liquid, they're empty out of your stomach relatively fast, unless you're on a GLP-1 or GIP medication, then it's going to take a little bit longer. However, it's a lot friendlier than meat or even a lot of these dairy proteins like your cottage cheese or your Greek yogurt. Now, granted, they're easily digested. However, they're really heavy with volume usually. And so they tend to be a little bit heavier for the concentration of protein. So this is where you just can't go wrong. If you want to get a lot of protein fast, whey protein shakes. It's probably one of the fastest ways. Or even clear protein. If you're familiar with clear protein now, it's a really wonderful source of quality protein that you can get that's not going to make you feel really full. Also, listen up, all my friends on GLP-1 medications. Clear proteins can really help, especially if you're having a hard time eating and keeping the food down. So, yeah, really good option there. Okay, let me see. Trace, here we go. Carolina says, can you have two servings of protein shakes a day? 1,000%, my friend. Yes, you absolutely can. I'm always going to recommend getting a different variety of proteins because that's where you're going to get different vitamins and minerals from different protein sources. So you don't want to necessarily drink protein shakes all day. Now, if you drank protein shakes all day, would that supply you with adequate protein intake? It would. But you would probably be lacking some other necessary vitamins and minerals, in which case you could always get them from, you could always do a multivitamin or something like that. It's not quite the same because our body is really meant to derive and to absorb those vitamins and minerals from real whole foods. But if you actually had to, you could survive just for your sole protein needs off of protein shakes. I wouldn't recommend it. Again, variety, so that you can get all the different goodies from the other sources of protein. But I'm just throwing this out there that 2 is absolutely okay. And so you'll be fine. And let me tell you also, shakes they're probably one of the most affordable options because you're looking at about $1 to $1.50 a scoop, which is going to be 25 grams of protein. And so, I mean, really, if you were just going to do shakes and say you're aiming for, 150 or so grams of protein a day, if you're just going to do that, it's a pretty cost-effective way to get your protein sources. But once again, I'm not saying that that's exactly what you should do is drink shakes all day. I'm just saying they're really cost-effective and convenient. You could do them in 30 seconds. So here we go. Tina, here's a really good question. And now, so Tina's doing my carb cycling challenge, but this is for anybody and everybody. So Tina's used to doing She says, historically, I've stayed within about 75 carbs, but on her high carb days, she's supposed to have like 230 carbs in a day. Seems high. It might seem a little bit high, 1,000%. Will you gain weight or will this still help you lose? It can absolutely help you lose. The weight loss and weight gain equation doesn't have to do with carbs. It has to do with calories. So if you're in a calorie surplus, you'll gain weight. But as long as you are actually, so Tina, as you noticed in the challenge, when you guys, one of the first things we talked about is creating that calorie deficit and using that tracker to create that deficit, whether it's a 10, 20, 30% deficit. 30 is aggressive. So I'm always suggesting you aim between 20 and 30 if you want to see some good weight loss. But at the same time, I would steer away from the 30% range, aim for about a 20 to 25% deficit. And guys, when I'm saying these numbers, I'm talking about 20% lower than the amount of calories your body's burning every day. Let me throw this out there real quick. If anyone wants to know how many calories your body's burning every day right now, I've got a free calorie calculator. It's in the link's in my bio. You can go to that calculator right now. It's totally free. And you can see how many calories your body's burning. And then Tina, I'm going to get right back to your question. Everyone here, you can figure out how many calories your body burns. And by the way, it's different from Sharon to Michael to Jessica to Shelly to Ross. Everybody burns a different amount of calories. You can just go click on the link in my bio and you can go to that, or just go to chrispowell.com. I got that free calorie calculator in there. Plug in your age, weight, height, gender, activity levels, and it will email you your calorie targets at 10, 20, and 30% deficits and your protein targets. So guys, this is all free. So it's all no cost. This is my gift to you. It's all there. So that way, if you're following along, you can follow along with this and you can do this yourself. Okay. So Tina, going back to this, as long as you're at a deficit, you're not going to gain any body fat. Now, we did cover this on day 2. I don't know if you were able to join our second session. Will you gain some water weight with carbohydrates? Yes. If you're used to consuming 75 grams a day, remember, every 1 part carbohydrate holds 3 parts water, hence the name, the carbohydrate. And so if you consume, and this is an extreme example, like a pound of carbohydrate gets absorbed into the system, it will pull 3 pounds of water with it. And so if you step on the scale after consuming a lot of carbohydrate, going from 75 to 230 grams, will you actually start to see, will you see the scale go up? Yes. But will the scale come right back down? Yes. This is why we carb cycle. I love carb cycling because usually when you start carb cycling, you stop getting scared of water fluctuations on the scale because you understand what they are. Because right now we're going through high carb days. You're eating 230 calories. You're going to see the number on the scale go up because your carbs are pulling water into your muscle. And then as soon as you go into a low carb day, guess what? It's going to drop right back off and you're going to see all that water release. But I'm going to tell you what's going to happen before it happens. And you go through the ride and you go, oh, wow, Tina, my body's really cool. I didn't realize it was doing that. And you go, oh, that's cool. Now I understand it. Now I'm not scared of stepping on the scale, especially when I've consumed more carbohydrates. It's not scary anymore because I understand what they're doing to my body. I also understand that in a couple of days, I can remove those carbohydrates or I can burn them through movement. And now the scale is going to come right back down. So it's not a reflection of body fat at all. And you're going to watch the trend over the next couple of weeks. And all of a sudden you're going to see yourself losing weight because you're at a deficit. So it's a really beautiful experience. It's a beautiful discovery of your body and it's very empowering. So that's why I like carb cycling, because we're going to remove any kind of fear that you might have of water fluctuations because you're going to understand them, because you're literally going to ride your body through them, knowing what's going to happen. And when we look at the scale, we look at it with childlike curiosity. There's no judgment, there's no self-worth, there's no nothing. It's just looking at it thinking, oh, cool data. I understand how that works now. I'm not scared because I actually know that the magic, the fat loss, is happening under the surface because we're at an overall calorie deficit. But guess what those carbs are going to do? Those carbs are going to increase thyroid conversion in your liver. And they're going to actually help boost your metabolic rate even more so that those low carb days are going to be that much more effective. So we're going to have a lot of fun with this, Tina. I'm really glad you're on board, and you will not be scared of carbs at all anymore after this. And I know it's a leap of faith to get to eat 230 grams of carbs. But here's the best part also. Our muscles are fuel tanks for carbs. So we can hold between 300 to 500 grams of carbohydrate in our muscles. Our liver alone will hold 75 to 100 grams. So they're going to soak up those carbs before any of it will ever overspill into fat. And that will only happen at a surplus. So we've got multiple insurance policies, multiple barriers there to prevent that from happening. Okay. Sorry for the long-winded answer, but I think this is really good. Tina, I'm really glad you asked that. Thank you. Okay. Heidi, what's the best way to get over a plateau after losing a good amount of weight already? Okay, Heidi, this is going to be a very general answer, but if you've been at a calorie deficit for a long period of time and you've lost a significant amount of weight, one of the best things you can do is actually to give yourself a diet break. And so I would say to actually increase your calories to maintenance level for quite some time. We have a kind of a terminology for it. We call it a slingshot. And it's because what will happen is that when you're at a calorie deficit, you will go through metabolic adaptations that will it will reduce your body's ability to expend more energy. So it's your body's simply becoming more efficient. And so it will start to slow and lower metabolic rate. So I say go up to maintenance level of calories see what happens after a week. Now, does it require more than a week? Most often it does. Maybe 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Now, a lot of professionals would suggest, hey, you take a diet break for a month. However, I also understand, having worked with a lot of people through the journey of transformation, that sometimes a month can go off the rails. It has to be very strategic and it has to be planned. And what a diet break doesn't mean you go absolute ham. It doesn't mean, oh, it's over, you go right back to doing what you were doing. No, it is as structured as your regimen was when you're in a deficit. You give it the same amount of love and care and attention because it's a very structured pattern to bring you out of that deficit into maintenance, simply to allow a lot of the systems to reset your hormonal systems, to again go through, just as much as your body will go through metabolic adaptation to lower metabolic rate, it'll also go through metabolic adaptation to raise metabolic rate. And so that's why it'd be beautiful just to take yourself to maintenance and keep yourself there for several weeks. Give your body that rest. And then after a few weeks, drop right back in. Here's the catch. I don't for a second doubt your drive and your desire to achieve this goal. However, think about it like trying to break a door. And the thing is, you've pushed this door as far as you can, and now it doesn't want to give anymore. This is metabolic adaptation, and you're pushing. If you really want to break through, you have to take 1, 2, 3 weeks, ease up, and then punch through again. So after several weeks, you create that deficit again, and that is going to help get you past the plateau. That will break you through that plateau, and you will see results. So just think about it, like putting your fist against the door and trying to break the door. No, you have to pull that fist back to pop it through. Give yourself a break and then drive through, and you'll do it. But it also here, if you can read between the lines, the real test of this whole thing is going to be your patience. It's going to be, but you can do this. You can do this. I believe in you. You got this. Okay, here we go. Janet says, would I add berries to my shakes? Absolutely, I would. Apples, pears, and berries. Those are the highest fiber fruits you can get. They are loaded with antioxidants and vitamins and minerals and all kinds of good stuff. And like I mentioned, loaded with fiber too. Extremely filling, extremely low calorie impact, and full of flavor. So yeah, I love adding berries to my shakes. A lot of times I'll just add frozen berries, whether it's strawberries or blueberries or mixed berries, whatever it is. I add mixed berries to a lot of stuff, and it's great. Okay, here we go. Shelly says, here we go. Why does the scale fluctuate from 139 to 137 during the day? Well, that is all water intake, my friend. So if you would ever measure your actual fat gain and loss during a day, it might be a quarter pound. It would be so low. It's almost, you would have to weigh yourself on like a gram scale or something. If you're really measuring your fat gain and loss daily, it's a fraction of a pound, a fraction. Whereas water gain and loss, by the way, Shelly, you're on the lucky side. Do you know how many people here will go, oh, 2 pounds in a day? I fluctuate 6 pounds in a day. I fluctuate 8 pounds in a day. Remember, the more tissue that you have on your body, the more either muscle tissue, skin, whatever it might be, the more tissue you have, the more water you can fluctuate with. And so it is completely natural and supposed to happen. Your body is ebbing and flowing with water all the time. And the more, as you consume food, we talked about this, you consume carbohydrates, pulls the water into your muscle. Drink a little bit of water. I mean, I got 40 ounces of water right here. Do you know how much that weighs? I mean, 32 ounces is 2 pounds. And so I got almost 2.5 pounds of water right here. And I've already, let's see, when I woke up this morning, I drank all of one. So I'm up probably 3 pounds of water right now since 5:45 this morning. And I might go up another pound or so, and then it's going to slowly, and then it'll do this thing. And then I go to bed, and, I pee a little bit, and I get up once or twice in the night, go to the bathroom, and I wake up and I'm at a low. And then I gain my water again. So don't beat yourself up, guys. Your water is going to do this. Water is a sawtooth pattern, and you just watch it by the day, and it's going to go up and down. Okay, here we go. Dean, what's my take on iced coffees? Here we go. Great questions, by the way. He says he drinks black coffee with sweet and low, but like an iced coffee a few times a week. Dean, this is my answer. Cheers, my friend. There you go. Cold brew iced coffee. Boom. There you go. That's my take on iced coffee. I approve. Here's the best part. I can't find anything. I mean, do a PubMed search, and the only people that I think would say, well, the only time a doctor would say, well, ease up on the iced coffee is if you have a heart condition or, some sort of cardiovascular issue, where I think it's amazing. I love it for the caffeine. I don't love the taste. I think the taste is absolutely disgusting, but it's wonderful. Yeah. You say you work out high interval workouts 6 days a week, and no, you don't have to avoid it at all. Caffeine, by the way, guys, don't be scared of, if you don't have a heart issue. First of all, everyone talk to your doctor before you do anything crazy, even before you start any supplementation, but have a conversation, do your research about caffeine. In my opinion, and having done this for a long time, I think caffeine is probably one of the handiest tools we could use out there on the weight loss journey, on the sports and performance journey, really, even on a wellness journey. I think caffeine is absolutely phenomenal. And I've certainly used it for 30 plus years, maybe 28 years or so, 27 years. Yeah, super powerful. Here's the one thing I would recommend also, though. Just as our metabolism, as we go through metabolic adaptation, you will actually adapt to, you remember when half of one of these things, or half of an iced coffee, or half of your Monster energy drink, or your half of whatever used to just light you up? But then over time, you needed to drink the whole thing. And then after that, you had 2, and you had to have 3, and it takes more and more and more. Yeah, you go through metabolic adaptations to those, or you go through your own adaptations. So one of the best things you can do is not to keep drinking more of what it is, not to keep having the same formula. Switch the formula. And if you switch the formula, the delivery and the actual biochemistry behind it, it's a totally different shock to the system. And so what I might do is I might do this for a week or 2, and it wakes me up. And then as I start to adjust to that, and it's not waking me up not nearly as much as it was, and I wasn't feeling that same rush, then I'd switch over to, let's just say, for example, a Monster energy drink. And I have one, I go, whoa. And it's amazing for about a week or 2. And then all of a sudden I'm like, it's not feeling anymore. Then I switch it up again. And I usually keep about 3 different things on rotation. And I use 3 different sources of caffeine, and I wait for my body to adapt to it. Don't take my word for this, you guys. Just try it, and it works like a charm. You'll see. It's a lot of fun. So anyway, Dean, enjoy your coffee, my friend. Okay, here we go. These are great questions. Oh, Sonia's journey, fat to fat. Do I have ideas to improve your kidneys? Well, drink water, my friend. But if you have kidney issues, I have to hand that one over to your medical provider. They're going to know your situation best. And again, I am not a licensed physician, so I can't prescribe or diagnose or anything like that. I can only give suggestions, but I would say yeah, water is amazing. Cranberry juice, cranberry juice extract, anything, and do a little bit of your own research on that, because I am not a pro on kidneys. What I can tell you though, this is what I do know, and you can pull all the research in the world on this, is that a high protein diet does nothing as far as any kind of stress on your kidneys. If you have healthy kidneys, the human body is made to consume. We can absolutely consume plenty of protein and they will filter it beautifully. The only time you have to be really careful of that is if you do have kidney issues, in which case that one is handed completely over to the doctors, because they're going to know your situation better than anybody else. Okay, Stu Yoshi is hitting his protein goal, but getting too much fat. Any advice? Well, there are a lot of high protein, low fat options. And so this is, again, I'm going to go right back to shakes, egg whites. I can go back to chicken breasts or even chicken thighs. Believe it or not, chicken thighs are still relatively lower. They're lower in fat. They got a little bit more than chicken breasts, but they are a really good lean option. Pork tenderloin, my friend, extremely lean option. Non-fat Greek yogurt, vanilla, plain, whatever. I love to get Oikos Pro. Just the taste is delicious. But your very low fat 1% or non-fat cottage cheese, all great sources of protein. Beef jerky, my friend, great source of protein. When it comes to your beefs, your lean, your sirloin steaks, your top round steaks, phenomenal. Skirt steaks, all really, really lean cuts. They're going to be super high in protein and then low in fat. So I really hope that helps. You can get 99% extra lean ground turkey or 93% and mix it with 99%. So you get like 96%. Extra lean ground beef, 96%. You can do that as well, guys. And extra lean ground chicken. So there's a lot of really good high protein, low fat options that I would recommend you start to substitute in there for some of your other protein sources, and you will absolutely drop your fat intake. Hope that helps. Madeline, my thoughts on water fasting. I don't think it's a good idea at all. Guys, hydration is just so important for our overall health. I need to really educate myself a lot more. I've only seen some pretty sensational stuff about water fasting, and it doesn't look like a good idea to me. Again, there might be some medical professionals out there that might disagree. I don't know. But from what I know about the importance of hydration, I mean, guys, look, or just consuming water and not consuming anything else, again, not a good idea. I mean, we're not made to function that way. But again, that's my opinion. I need to do more research on it to really speak to it. Let me see. More questions. Oh, holy smokes. Guys, we're in a groove right now. I just looked up at the clock. I got a meeting in 5 minutes. As usual, the time flies by. I really, really hope I was able to answer some questions for you guys. Maybe share something that stuck with you. Maybe just a couple little gold nuggets of information. So again, really hope that helped. I'll be back again next week. I'm having too much fun with this. This has been a blast. So my friends, thank you again for brilliant questions. Bring them next week. I'll do my darndest to get to them. I was even thinking I'll probably drop Ask Me Anything in my Instagram and Facebook stories. So you guys can jump in there and you can just drop in a bunch of questions. And then what I'll do is just day by day, I might answer one or two. And so that way we can it's going to take time, because a lot of times I'll get 100 questions or 200 questions. But anyway, that way I can just slowly start to chip away at it. So look for an Ask Me Anything. I'll probably end up getting it out there sometime this week, because I know I only get to so many questions during these sessions. So again, guys, I'm here to serve. I hope that helped. Have a wonderful week ahead. I got some fun posts that I'm really looking forward to sharing with you guys this week, and go get them, guys. Don't forget your promises. Think about, you're going to thank yourself on Friday and Saturday. So commit to those promises. You got to keep them, because the most important thing in the world is hanging on those promises. That's your dignity, your confidence. This is a beautiful place to start. Let's use this week to get you that head start. You've got this. All right. Love you guys. See ya. Go get them.